Hello everyone, Arindo here. Um, so today I wanted to share something that we've been working on for a while now, and it's finally in a level that I feel that we can share with the rest of the WP Ultimo community. So one of the major problems that we have at the moment is that there are a lot of issues being reported and things like that. There aren't real issues. I mean, there are in fact real issues, but some of the things that reach our support channels, they are directly related and are a direct consequence of the lack of proper documentation and tutorials that explain how things work uh, with the new version. So what we wanted to do was to create a platform that allowed us, the WP Ultimo team, to create content and courses, lessons, tutorials that were a bit more concrete and hands-on than what we are able to do with regular documentation pages. Um, so we built a academy. The idea of the WP Ultimo Academy is to be a platform where we can create courses and cover topics ranging from how to set up the network to very specific things. Like one of the things that we plan to cover is how to implement some of the more creative setups that are possible with tools that are available right now in the WordPress ecosystem. So yeah, so let me just go ahead and show you what we have, and then we can move the discussion based on the things that we'll see here. So this is the WP Ultimo Academy. It is available now at learn.wpultimo.com, but if you type academy.wpultimo.com, you reach the same place. You should be able to log in with the same account that you have for the WP Ultimo community. And the idea moving forward is that all of the different resources that we will make available, they will all be accessible using this one single account that you guys have now. So one other thing that we are working on is the public roadmap with the issues that we are working on and features that are planned, and that's going to be also a different website, and you'll be able to log into that website to leave suggestions or report issues using the same account as well. But yeah, so the first thing that we have here in the Academy are the three basic courses that we have, which are those three here. So we have one aptly, I'm not sure if that's a word that exists, but that it starts here, and it goes through the basics, the very basics. So we go over a couple of terms that we use all the time, such as network, multi-site, super admin, things that are not like common knowledge for people that are used to WordPress but are not that familiar with WordPress multi-site. And then we do an introduction to WordPress multi-site, an introduction to WP Ultimo and the available license tiers, and then we have a quiz. It's not every course that will have a quiz. Ideally, we'll have videos for most lessons, We are still working on getting the videos ready. And to be honest, the content on all of the lessons that you guys will see here, it's still a working in progress. But the idea is that we have a ton of content more or less ready that we just need to review and record videos for. But those are the main three, and I'm still recording some of the videos for those three. But the idea is that you go through the Start Here course, then we have the Basics course, which covers topics such as choosing a hosting provider, how to install WP Ultimo, a superficial guide to migration, and how to get help, things that you need to know, and also a tour of the admin page, the customer facing pages, things like that. And then the last step of the very WP Ultimo 101 selection of courses, which are these three here, is the building a network. This one it's still being worked on, but this one covers all of the elements that you actually need to have a good grasp on in order to go from having nothing to having something that is close to the final vision that you have for a product. So we cover products, checkout forms, how to get paid and configure payment gateways using WooCommerce if you want to, basics on domain mapping, and some tips regarding how you can choose plugins that are safer and things like that. So this is the basic course. Let's say we want new WP Ultimo users to go through at least these three courses here. But then the idea is that the Academy will grow and that we'll have courses covering specific topics and how to do specific things, how to achieve very specific goals. And for that we have some major axis of action, let's say. So our courses, they'll basically be divided into one or more of these 6 categories here. So we have the getting started, which covers the basics, scaling, which covers things that challenges that you start to have once your network starts to grow. Then we have courses that are focused on developers that want to extend or develop add-ons for WP Ultimo and things like that. Then we have building together, which is a category where we plan to use the products that we are building using WP Ultimo as basis for courses, so you can actually see how the process actually looks when someone tries to go from having nothing to a development version of a product to a fully fledged production ready product using WP Ultimo. Then we have advanced topics, which covers things that are less obvious but are still related to WP Ultimo, and we'll see a couple of examples later. And then we have other, which is pretty much a umbrella category where we can put things that are interesting to have here as courses, but that might not be directly related to WP Ultimo. So tutorials covering specific plugins that, while they do not integrate directly with WP Ultimo, it is a plugin that is very commonly used by WP Ultimo customers. And the idea here is that we plan to bring other plugin authors that develop things for WP Ultimo, or that can work well with WP Ultimo, and have them be instructors on the WP Ultimo Academy and add their own courses covering, explaining how to use the tools that they have developed. So then here at the bottom, we have a bunch of some of the courses that we are already working on. And here, let's go to all courses. That way we can see them all. And they are at different stages of completeness at the moment. But the idea is that I'm planning to be able to release at least a couple of new courses every week, at least for the first weeks, because we have a bunch of this in a more or less close to finished state. But as you can see, courses tend to cover specific topics. So while we'll have some courses that are more comprehensive in a way that they try to explain how to achieve a specific goal, and to do so they explain different elements of the WP Ultimo functionality set. We also want to have courses that go really deep in how a particular functionality works. So here, for example, this course here about tax handling, the idea is to really explain the logic behind WP Ultimo taxes in a way that we can give an overview of how taxes work on the more comprehensive courses, but at the same time point customers to this deep dive course if that's something that they want to do. So let's go back to the list here. And one of the things that I would like you guys to give me some feedback on is that, as I mentioned, we have all of these courses here, the courses on the list here. They are in different levels of completeness, and I would like to hear which ones you think that are the most important ones. I know that the domain mapping is a very important topic, and I'm going to give it some priority. But I would like to know, and I would also like to hear your suggestions about themes that are not here at the moment, but that you guys think that would warrant a course to be created. So let's go through a couple of the courses that we have planned here, just so you can have an idea of what's coming. So as I mentioned, on getting started, we cover the most basic, it's not really the word, but the fundamental topics that you need to understand a little in order to achieve the basic goals that you want to achieve with WP Ultimo. So we have the comprehensive building a network that I showed before, but at the same time we have a deep dive on domain mapping and SSO. We have a deep dive on discount codes. This here should not be looking like this and I have to take a look on why it is like this. But yeah, and a quick note about courses. So courses, they are mostly free. There are all the courses that we have right now, and 99% of the courses that WP Ultimo, the team behind WP Ultimo, will create are going to be free, and you can simply enroll. And the cool thing about courses, the way the courses work here, is that we have some courses have a quiz section where you can test your knowledge after a course, and all courses have a Q&A section that we can use to expand the knowledge presented in a course, with the feedback, the questions and suggestions that are added by WP Ultimo users using the Q&A tags. But yeah, let me go back. And let's go through the categories. So on scaling, things that we want to cover. So a deep dive on support agents, tips and tricks when dealing with plugging your network's performance, really. And if we go to development, we have some very meta courses that we're planning, but there are also a couple of courses here that are very practical. So an example would be developing your first WP Ultimo add-on. And the idea of this course, for example, is that we use a bunch of internal tools that we have developed to assure code quality and generating the boilerplate for a new add-on, and we're going to open source all of those tools, and we'll have a course that basically teaches you how to use those tools. And that's important because after you learn how to create your first WP Ultimo add-on, you can developments. You can use that knowledge to then try to become a WP Ultimo expert, which is something that I mentioned before. That we are starting to build an internal list of vetted developers that are known to have experience with WP Ultimo, so we can safely recommend those developers to WP Ultimo customers that are looking for customization, custom development to implement a certain integration feature and things like that. And one other thing that is coming later this year is the WP Ultimo add-on marketplace, where third-party developers will be able to propose that the add-ons that they have developed be part of a marketplace where we will basically curate third-party add-ons that are known to work well with WP Ultimo, and to list those add-ons, we can also make some demands in terms of code quality, security, and things like that. So it's something that I think it's a win-win for every party involved. Then for building together, and as you can see here, there are a couple of courses that are present in multiple categories. This one is really a course that excites me, because this setup is how currently we build apps at NextPress. So we use Bedrock, which is a WordPress, say modified somewhat version of WordPress that allows for plugins, themes, and WordPress itself to be installed via Composer. And yeah, I didn't mean to get really technical with this video, but it's a way that you can make sure that you are versioning your application as a whole, and you can be sure that you're always using the right versions of certain plugins, themes, and it's the way. If you're looking for tips and recommendations on how to create a scalable, production ready SaaS or website as a service platform using WP Ultimo and WordPress multi-site, a good way to do that, at least in terms of having a very precise code base, it's to use Bedrock and version control with Composer and all of that. And here in this course, I'm writing this course as I'm building a project using WP Ultimo, a project for one of our plugins that we are transforming into a SaaS using WP Ultimo. So it's possible that this course is going to be like a drip course where new lessons will be added as new things are added, but we do all sorts of cool things, and I'm just excited to share this one with you guys. And you'll see that most of the courses that we have here, they are marked as coming soon, but they all have pretty detailed descriptions already, so you can have a good idea of the topics and the themes that we are going to cover on each of those courses. Here, okay. Then on advanced, we cover some of the more obscure features of WP Ultimo, such as the REST API, the CLI commands, webhooks, connecting with Zapier, and then things that are very meta, like what's the application process to become a WP Ultimo expert, which is something that is not really completely finished at the moment, but we'll have a course for that. The application process to have an add-on be listed on the WP Ultimo add-on marketplace, developing your first WP Ultimo. This one is an interesting one as well. If you're a developer, we'll go through the folder structure of the plugin, where you can find things that do certain things, how to find a particular filter or hook that the WP Ultimo offers, and things like that. And then another, I'm not sure, yeah, nothing really new there. But yeah, so one of the coolest things that we have planned for the community is that it's not something that we'll do alone. And as I mentioned before, I plan to invite a couple of plugin authors to create courses about their products, and we should start to see a couple of those courses by third parties in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as some of them are already working on courses. But you don't need to be a plugin author to have a course on the WP Ultimo Academy. So one of the courses that we have, again, very meta, is how to become a WP Ultimo Academy instructor. And if you think that you're good creating content, creating courses and things like that, and you have an idea for a course or a draft of a couple of lessons, and they meet a certain standard that we're going to set, you can feature or have your courses be part of the WP Ultimo Academy. And the idea here is that while the courses that we, the WP Ultimo team, will create are almost never going to be paid courses, instructors can create courses that are not free, they are paid courses covering very specific topics. Of course, that they can also offer free courses, but the ultimate goal for the WP Ultimo Academy is to be a place where you can find content, tutorials covering very specific use cases created by members of the community or the WP Ultimo team or plugin authors, and to have it be a ever-growing knowledge base, let's say. And of course, some of the material that we are creating for the WP Ultimo Academy, they will also be reformatted and added to the regular knowledge base that we have. If you want something that is more like a document that explains how a particular thing works, I don't want you to need to search for that thing among different lessons of different courses. So we are going to take the content that we create for the Academy, condense it and break it into different portions and have those be regular, straight to the point knowledge-based documents as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, still a lot of work to do here, but it's available. You should be able to log in using your community account credentials, and those three have the material available, although as I mentioned, we are also still working on some of the material, especially on the building a network, and I'm working on the videos as well. Some of the lessons here already have videos, but not all of them. And then I would really like to hear which of the courses that are here and are marked as coming soon you guys think are the most important ones that we should give some priority in terms of finishing up the text or recording the videos, which I think it's a very important aspect of having a platform like this, is to have things in video format. And just so I can give you an example of how it looks like, most of the lessons, they contain both a video that goes through the contents of the lesson, but they also have like written content in a way that if something changes and we're not able to update the videos right away, you can always rely on the written content of the lesson to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date content. And we're also trying to make very obvious here that something that was said on the video or it's no longer applicable, or if we added something new to the written version of the lesson that was not available at the time that the video was recorded. But yeah, I think that covers this first look at the WP Ultimo Academy. And my internet connection just went down, but it's probably a good thing because yeah, we covered what we had to cover today. I appreciate the patience regarding the documentation and the written material, the tutorials for the new version. We have been working on this content for a while, and I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy it. Yeah, so I'll see you guys soon, and have a good weekend. Bye.